Alright, cool. Hi guys.
Hello, sorry.
Logan and Kevin here from Cinema Suitcase, and obviously this episode will be out in January, so if you're watching this, that means that this will be in correlation with, it'll be released around the same time as Scream 5. So obviously we're doing the first Scream, the original one from 1996.
Sorry, I'm taking fluff off the mic while you were talking.
No problem. But yeah, no, Scream, the masterpiece series by Wes Craven, just a great series in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Held in high regard.
Yes, definitely. So let's just get our stats out of the way. So this movie obviously was directed by Wes Craven, like I just said. Writing credits by Kevin Williamson.
Yeah.
Original music by Marco Beltrami, and cinematography by Mark Irwin, and then film editing by Patrick Lucia.
Lucia. That sounds nice, actually.
Yeah, it does sound nice.
Pretty good.
But yeah, no. So the Scream series, just to give my little background, I always knew about like Ghostface and everything, like as a slasher and everything.
Is that actually his name?
That's the actual
slasher name.
The killer's name is Ghostface.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, I do know about Ghostface, but that was more from the Scary Movies series, not from actual like Scream or whatever. And then it was earlier, I think it was early this year, I think it was maybe early this year, early last year, whatever. Yeah, it was probably this year. I'm just trying to get my years thing, because ever since Unspecified Virus, time has just been,
Yeah, it's a bit lost, I know.
It's lost, we don't know when is when and all that type of stuff, but yeah, so I watched this series, I thought, I've never watched Scream before, let me actually go watch the first one. I watched the first one, I'm like, that was pretty good. Let me watch the second one. I'm like, that was pretty good too. And then I ended up just marathoning through all 4 films. And yeah, these films are just like, yeah. Even though obviously I'm not like a long time veteran fan like a lot of other people, but like for me, like even though I only started watching this series like this year basically, instantly just became a massive fan of the series, and I absolutely love it.
That's great. That's cool, man. So you're actually kind of a recent fan, like
a recent fan of Scream.
Scream. Okay, that's cool. Like I'm not a diehard fan. I have seen Scream before, maybe in the mid or early 2010s. Because remember I spoke to you about a certain individual being actually the killer. Yeah,
you did actually kind of guess right, and then I was like, and then you said to me like, "Oh, they're the killer," and I'm like, just watch and see.
Yeah, because that was, I remember Shaggy, the character, the actor rather, I remember him being involved from the first time I watched it, and then I sort of got flashes and images, and I was like, oh yeah, aren't you kind of involved?
Yeah.
You crook.
Crook, yeah.
He got enough Scooby-Doo inspiration, so he changed sides.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, spoilers, just if you haven't seen the first Scream.
Obviously.
I mean, that's obvious, but like, yeah, just in case any of you watching haven't seen the first Scream and you don't want to know who the killer actually is or whatever, then yeah, just spoiler warning. But yeah, no.
Wait, I haven't finished my origin.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That was my first encounter. And I always knew of Ghostface, especially as you say from Scary Movie. That was my first time seeing the character, even though it isn't a real portrayal of him. It's not canon to Scream.
Because every single Scary Movie poster, they love to put Ghostface on the covers.
Yeah, they really love him.
And then eventually you start to get confused. It's like, oh, he's from the Scary Movie series. It's like, actually no, he's from Scream.
He's actually from Scream.
Yeah.
And he always flew under the radar for me. I knew he existed, but I never really sat down and watched them until I saw Scream one day on, I think it was on TV, back when I had our cable network.
Yeah.
And until then, I kind of never really worried about it. I know he's a classic, and I never bashed him because I like Ghostface compared to Chucky. But that would be, yesterday would be my refreshing return to the series where I can sit down and talk about it now, and I'm a fan, I'll admit.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, and like I've said with a lot of other movies, when we were discussing about doing this podcast, I was like, okay, no, we're definitely doing Scream at some point. And I even mentioned in our Resident Evil episodes a few episodes back, was that I want to eventually do all the Scream movies because I just love the series, and and obviously they just, we're filming this in October, but you guys will see this in January. They just recently released the trailer for Scream 5. Looks pretty decent.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I know. You haven't seen it. I don't know. It might be better if you actually don't watch
Yeah, I
it.
was
It might
gonna
be
say,
rather wait
maybe-
until you watch through the first 4 films, and then you can see the trailer for Scream 5, because it doesn't give too much away, but it's going to sort of spoil certain things. So I'd say rather watch the series first before you get into that one. But yeah.
No problem.
But so we just want to do Scream. So opening our story, we start with the opening scene of Drew Barrymore, and obviously when she was very young, she was first started acting and everything. This was like the year after Batman Forever, because she wasn't Batman Forever. She was one of Two-Face's girlfriends in that movie.
Nice.
And this is obviously before she was on Charlie's Angels. Because that's kind of
Isn't that like 2001?
That's 2000. Yeah, it's 2000, like 2000.
It is very early 2000s.
Yeah, like early 2000s. That was when those movies came out. But yeah, no. So, and to give like a bit of a background, Wes Craven is one of the great horror movie directors. I know that him and John Carpenter were often fans of each other, and they often referenced each other's movies in their films.
Cool. Well done.
I remember. I'm pretty sure she said John Carpenter. I'm pretty sure it was John Carpenter, but I could be stand corrected. Actually, last year when obviously the unspecified virus
Of unknown origin.
happened, and we were all stuck in confinement, and obviously my depression, anxiety levels were through the roof. I needed something just to like calm me down and just relax. So I watched through the 2 Swamp Thing movies from like the 80s, from the 80s. And Wes Craven directed the first Swamp Thing. And I actually like the Swamp Thing movies. They're, again, more guilty pleasures for me, basically. But and then I watched the interview. The main actress in that movie, she, I think, was actually married to John Carpenter. And then when they were interviewing her, like as a retrospective, like 20 years later, when they were doing like a remastered Blu-ray or whatever, she said that she got the script and she was very captivated by it, and then she was married to John Carpenter, and then she was showing it to John Carpenter, when John Carpenter saw Wes Craven's name on the script. He was like, "Oh no, you have to do this movie because it's Wes Craven, and Wes Craven's awesome."
That's cool.
So yeah, the two of them kind of like often like like to reference each other, because there's a lot of references to John Carpenter's films in this movie as well. And Wes Craven, obviously he directed the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. That was obviously his main franchise.
Sure.
And then,
Sorry.
kind of after Nightmare on Elm Street kind of came to an end, Scream was kind of the next franchise.
That's true.
That he worked on.
Sorry. Let you finish.
No, sorry. Just to finish off my point, he directed every single Scream movie up until 4. Obviously, the new Wes Craven did pass away a few years ago, so obviously the new one's been done by new directors. But he directed all 4 of the Scream films. Which I think is pretty cool.
That's very cool. Yeah.
It means that like the whole series has always just been fostered by him.
Yeah, his vision. Same with like since I think Fast and Furious 5, they've had Justin Lin direct all of them almost since.
Yeah, because even I think with like Halloween, like John Carpenter, like he directed the first Halloween, but then after that he was just like more of a producer. Like obviously he was still involved in the projects, but he didn't. He kind of stepped away from the director's chair after that. Yeah.
That's pretty fascinating. I like John Carpenter's work.
Yeah.
I need to watch The Thing properly.
Yeah, The Thing's
I remember
really good.
seeing it years ago, and I need to go back in with like.
I've got the Blu-ray. Got the Blu-ray box set that I can print for us, just have as a little prop. But yeah, no, we're definitely doing The Thing.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, basically we open up again with Drew Barrymore, and then that's she's busy, like she's just at home. Obviously, she's a teenage girl. Her parents are still coming back from wherever her parents were. She's alone at home. She's waiting for her boyfriend to come, and then she's making popcorn, and then she gets a phone call. And at first she's like, "Oh no, sorry, just wrong number." She puts the phone down, and then the guy keeps calling her over and over again. And this is obviously like Ghostface. Well, the killer, obviously, with using the device to actually hide his real voice. But yeah, and that's always kind of been Scream Ghostface thing. He always phones his victims just before he kills them. So yeah, it's very interesting. And then he's basically just playing mind games with her, he's asking her like all these like really cool meta questions about like like who was the killer in Halloween, and then they reference like, oh yeah, that's that movie with that guy who wears the mask who stalks and kills a bunch of babysitters and all that type of stuff. It's very, very cool. That's actually what I love about the Scream series, that it's very meta. It's very meta with its humor. Like it doesn't just reference horror movies. Like it references film structure, screenplay writing, everything like that. Because in the sequels, they actually start to reference that a bit. Like in the second one, they start to reference like, oh no, this is the sequel, and in the sequel, you always have to have more body kills and more kills, and the body count has to be high and everything. And then the third one is like, okay, we are now at the end of a trilogy, and there's all this meta commentary, and I just love it.
That is very clever.
Yeah, and I think also just to an average moviegoer, they'll go, oh yeah, that's cool, whatever. But to like a filmmaker like us, that's really, really cool.
That's what's up. I get you. Yeah. That's very impressive. I look forward to watching the later films. Yeah. I've only seen Scream 1, I think. I may have seen the others, but definitely not recently.
Yeah. No.
Oh, sorry. What I wanted to say just now was, I thought, like, remember I said Candyman when we did that, he was late to the party. But actually Scream is like a slasher titan as well, but he is... He's
very late to the party.
Very late to the party, fashionably late.
Fashionably.
He had to get his robe on. Exactly. So I didn't realize that Scream was actually that recent.
And we even get a little Candyman reference.
Yeah, we do.
Which is very cool.
I was so happy. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad he acknowledged him.
Yeah, it was Shaggy when they were at the lockers, and he says something about like, yeah, you framed him as Candyman.
You accused him of being a Candyman, something like that.
Yeah, that was very cool.
I laughed at that. That was great for me because I didn't think they would reference other movies like Candyman, because Candyman I think is a little bit smaller than obviously the.
But no, they reference all the greats.
The greats.
They reference Jason. They reference. Okay, obviously they're gonna reference Nightmare on Elm Street because that's Wes Craven's franchise, but they reference Michael Myers, Jason.
Well, they did reference his outfit. Remember the janitor wore it.
Yeah, and that janitor was Wes Craven.
There we go. Yeah, you said so last night.
Actually, cameo because he's there for such a brief second, and you're just like, oh, it's just a janitor. Why is a janitor wearing those weird clothes? I'm like, no, that's Wes Craven. That's Wes Craven.
Sort of like when one of the Russo brothers was in Endgame, and you're like, yeah, there he is. There, he's at that therapy session or whatever with Captain America.
And that's actually a cool callback because that's actually Freddy Krueger's origins. That he was a janitor.
Oh really?
He was a janitor in the school, and then he was like a file basically, and he thing. And then when the parents found out and the police wouldn't do anything, the parents hunted Freddy Krueger down. They killed him, and then obviously through supernatural phenomenon, he basically became a slasher who haunts the because obviously he was going after like little kids, and then obviously when the little kids grow up and now they're teenagers and like matric or whatever, that's when he goes after them in their dreams and everything like that.
Yeah, I look forward to Nightmare on Elm Street. We haven't covered that.
Yeah, I still want to do the first. Okay, I'm not really interested in the sequels, but the original Nightmare on Elm Street I definitely want to do.
First one for sure. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, definitely.
I need to find some film franchises where we're going to cover every movie, because right now for you we got Scream
and Resident Evil,
and I've got nothing in terms of film franchises I actually want to go through entirely. So I need to find some.
I know you said you wanted to do Fast and Furious. I'm up for doing Fast and Furious, just we're skipping the fourth one because that one
one is horrible.
That one is horrible, and it was and that is again another one of the movies where I went about 2 hours of my life back.
Yeah, Fast and Furious 4, I like to pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that movie's
I like to... The franchise really found its footing starting at 5. Yeah, that's when the vision became
I also think that we should start... If we do Fast and Furious as like just a little tangent, but we should start with 5, and then the only one outside... And then continue on, and then the only outside ones that we'll do is Hobbs and Shaw. I wouldn't mind doing an episode on that. And then also I want to do Tokyo Drift, because Tokyo Drift is my favourite.
I want to do the first one.
Oh yeah, the first
one is awesome to me. Anyway, I think we're going a little bit off. Sorry, I started that. Do you want to continue? I forgot what we were.
Yeah, we were talking about. We were just talking about the meta commentary.
Yes, that's right. I did appreciate that. I'm glad that they had a very, analysis of the self. Basically, they looked at themselves and how. You remember I said in Candyman. Even if you have a simple premise or concept, but you have a unique take on it, you can still make something successful. And that's what that's what Scream's equivalent of that analysis is they're pretty much a slasher, but they made fun of film structure, and they even talk about it a lot.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it. How I sort of interpret it is that there's a slasher universe. Obviously, all the films like Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, Jason, Halloween, which are all in a shared universe, and there are crossovers. Okay, Freddy vs. Jason confirmed that there are crossovers. They are the same universe. Okay, I'll accept no other canon.
I was going to say, relax, I'm right here.
Yeah, and then Scream is basically... Scream, I feel, is like the real... Like, technically the real world. Because Ghostface, he's not supernatural. He's not supernatural. If you shoot Ghostface, he's going to fall down and die. He's not going to get back up or whatever.
That's what I was saying.
So it's a more realistic approach to slasher, where it's just like where the people who are behind the mask, it's not like some supernatural entity, it's just a normal dude.
Exactly. That's what I was saying to you yesterday. I appreciate that because he's just a normal dude, he gets his ass beat. Like, he falls and trips and he gets hit and he
like
obviously...
They smack him and he falls down, he gets back up. It's kind of a bit awkward when he's trying to kill people.
A little bit, but that grounds him a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Not as a character, but in terms of it grounds him in reality. Because you can see, okay, he is vulnerable and he isn't, an expert at what he does. He's kind of a noob.
Yeah. But anyway, so we'll continue with the story now. Drew, so anyway, he's talking on the phone with Drew Barrymore, then she clicks on the patio lights, she sees her boyfriend is like, because she starts to get creeped out by this guy and says, oh, my boyfriend's going to be here any second, he's going to kick your ass or whatever. And then she switches on the light and she sees that her boyfriend's like tied up to a chair, he's got tape around his mouth and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And then he's basically just like breaking her down and like asking her, when he's asking all these film trivia questions like who's the killer in Halloween, Michael Myers, like, okay, like who was the killer in Friday the 13th, and it's like it's Jason, I saw that movie like 20 times. It's like Jason didn't come back and didn't show up until the sequel. It's like, that's a real film buff.
Yeah, that is right there.
Like when they freak out because you get something wrong about the movie that they like.
Dude, like when we were at college, I wasn't there, you were there, and then someone was like, I'll be back, and she was like, oh, that's Darth Vader, and you were like, excuse me.
Yeah, basically.
that classic record sound when the record scratches, that's what you heard, the vinyl.
That's why Randy in this movie, he's the one of the teenagers who doesn't die in this movie, but he's basically the guy, he works at the... he's the only one that's single. He's single and he works at the DVD store and he's kind of their friend or whatever. And he's like the ultra film buff. He knows everything about all these movies and everything. There's that one bit where they may say something about horror. Somebody makes something wrong and then he gets up, he pauses the movie, like he explains it to them and everything. He has a whole freak out. I'm like, yeah, that was me at college.
I can imagine.
When people didn't know like proper movie references or whatever, I was always quick to correct people.
You're like, excuse me, actually this is how it is. Push up your glasses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, but anyway, anyway, he murders this girl, like completely tortured, like rips her spleens out and everything, and then then we cut to our main character, who's Sidney Prescott, who's our main horror queen for this movie.
Horror queen.
Yeah, and she's basically she's sitting working on a PC, and then her dad comes. Obviously, the boyfriend climbs through the window, and then the dad comes in, and then thankfully her cupboard door goes up against the front door, so when the front door opens it like slams against it, so it can't open fully. So so
that's obviously playing into the later.
They said that obviously she has that as like a defense mechanism. She has that to keep her dad from like watching what she's doing or whatever, or like walking in on her when she's with her boyfriend, but then that actually does come into play because that does actually help her when Ghostface is running after her and trying to kill her. Mm-hmm. And basically, she meets up with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend wants to, get busy, but she's not into it. But she still gives him a flash. She still says, like, "Are you willing to settle for a PG-13 relationship?" He's like, "What's a PG-13?" And she like opens her shirt for him. I thought that was pretty cool. But it's just a fun thing. And then basically there's a murder mystery because obviously this girl's been murdered, so and obviously this is a small town, so murders like this don't happen very often.
It's a big shock, yeah.
It's a big shock and everything, and that's kind of just how the story just kind of goes on. The Ghostface is very fixated on Sydney. He wants to kill her and everything, and then she's obviously trying to just hide with her friends and everything like that.
Is her name Sydney or Cindy?
No, it's Sydney.
It is Sydney. Okay.
Yeah, I remember it's Sydney.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's Sydney Prescott, and then just kind of goes from there. She's like kind of just been. It's kind of just a stalker movie for a lot of it because Ghostface he just shows up once every now and then to try and kill her, but then she doesn't, and then after when they chase the first time and her boyfriend, she's like hiding in her room and then her boyfriend climbs through the window just like he normally does just to see her or whatever. A phone falls out of his pocket and then she accuses him of being Ghostface, of the killer. And then obviously we get to the police station. Then we meet some of our other characters like Dewey, who's like the deputy police officer, and he's the big brother of like her best friend.
Yeah, I know that from the Scary Movie. It's like a meme.
Yeah. Well, Dewey is one of the main characters of the series, though.
Oh, is he recurring?
Yeah, he's a recurring character. The three like major characters in the series, it's Sydney Prescott, Dewey, and Gail Weathers, the reporter.
Oh, the reporter lady.
Yeah, who's basically like Lois Lane.
Yeah, essentially.
In Scream 3, they actually even make there's actually a part where she's accusing somebody, and they say, "Okay, fine, Lois Lane."
Nice.
Yeah.
So Scream is like a paying homage to the slashers.
Yeah, basically.
And essentially becoming a franchise of its own.
Yeah, basically.
That's really cool.
But yeah, no, it's pretty cool, and yeah, pretty much from there. Don't really, maybe just like stop and take a breather, but
Must I? Or do you want to take 2 minutes?
well, no, I was gonna think of something to ask you, just so you could talk for a bit. So tell me, like, how what did I do? I'll get your take on this. What did I do like about this movie? Is kind of like it's a very much like a mystery of who is Ghostface, and you're kind of trying to figure it out with the characters and everything. How did you find that?
I quite liked it because it gets you involved. I'm not gonna lie. As a viewer, it's sort of like that other game where you have to a board game where you have to figure out who the killer is.
Cluedo.
I was thinking, I'm like, is it Cluedo? I think it's Cluedo. It is, and it gave me Cluedo vibes because everyone has something, or not everyone, but a lot of characters have hints pointing that they're actually the killer. Like, for example, the principal who is a bit weird.
Yeah, he's a bit weird and eccentric. Because later, when obviously after Sydney's had her first encounter with Ghostface, there's a bit where like there's these like teenagers, because they're doing it as a joke, because they're just idiot jocks.
Yeah.
They go running down past the hallway past her wearing the Ghostface uniform, and then the principal calls them in, and then like he like rips off their masks and like expels them, and he's like got the scissors and everything, and it's just like, dude, okay, look, I understand what they did was wrong, but you're kind of taking it a bit too seriously.
Yeah, he is. And then another example would be like, say Cindy's dad, when they say he never arrived at his Hilton hotel to stay. So you kind of think, okay, he made some, rubbish story, and he might actually be the killer.
Maybe it's Sydney's dad.
And then of course there was the example you mentioned with
the boyfriend
and the phone. Yeah,
the boyfriend. They're trying to pull the phone records, so they're trying to figure out what's going on.
And how people appear like as soon as the killer disappears.
Yeah.
So there's that thing that every character gets their like sort of turn in the spotlight where there's something that accuses them of being the killer. So you go along with it. You're like, okay, you start making connections, like, okay, this fool, he's kind of sus to me, he's alright, he's just weird, I started doing that, and that's what I really liked about the approach to Scream. It wasn't like a bare bones play-by-play, it was a little bit more thought-provoking.
Yeah, and it's very cool because each Scream movie, there's it's always somebody else behind the mask in each movie. So each movie is always like a murder mystery type of thing where you're trying to figure out, okay, who actually is it and everything like that.
Okay, that's cool, but why the recurring characters again?
Well, because Sydney Prescott is basically to what this franchise is Laurie Strode, or basically like Ellen Ripley, where she's like the main character, and in most of the films, the Ghostface killer, it's always somebody who has some sort of connection to Sydney Prescott, and somebody who wants to kill, who just wants to murder her, basically. So it's always like, so she's always kind of the main focus and the main character. And she's a really awesome like horror queen. Like,
she was cool.
We were actually talking the other day about our favorite like horror queens, and we were saying like, oh yeah, Laurie Strode, Ripley, Sarah from The Descent, and I was like, Sydney Prescott from Scream, because she is pretty awesome.
She's hardcore. No, definitely.
And I love that bit where there's a bit where Dewey wants to take. They go out the back door so Dewey can get to his car so he just take Sydney back home. And then the reporter Gail Weathers, she comes around the corner and she sees her. Then she comes to interview her. And now Gail Weathers and Sydney have this icy relationship because the thing is Sydney's mother died the previous year, and there's a murderer, Cotton, who's obviously in jail, and Gail doesn't believe this. Gail basically says that no, that Sydney was lying, that somebody else, that Sydney was just confused or whatever, and her mother was murdered. So, and it's very thin, and then Gail keeps saying to her that no, your mother was just a cheater. She wasn't. She was just a cheater, basically. All type of stuff. Anyway, then she comes obviously to do a reporter thing to ask questions, and then Cindy just
that right hook was satisfying.
Knocks her. It was very satisfying.
Okay, initially I was a bit confused why she hit her, but then the following scene, or whenever they meet up again, it's at school, and then she's talking about the book. So I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're basically using her trauma to make money through some book. Yeah. No wonder she clocked you. And then I was in my mind, I was like, yeah, Sydney.
It was very funny because before we even watched the movie, you were telling me about how you hate people who write books about other people's lives. Not even as a ghostwriter, they just want to write about somebody else's life and make money off of it.
Dude, I hate those people.
So when we were watching Scream, I was like, Kevin, it's the people you hate.
Yeah, dude, I hate those people that say you become some big time director. All right, cool. Now here's me. I write a book about you, I make millions, and I did absolutely no work other than copy-paste your life. I hate those people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's very annoying. But yeah, so yeah, when she punched Gail Weathers, I was like, okay, no, she's not just your normal
teenage girl
in a horror movie.
Pushover
teenage girl in a horror movie. She's actually badass.
She's hardcore.
And it reminded me of in Mass Effect. There's that one part, but I can't remember which Mass Effect it was. It was the first one where you have this reporter, or the second one where you have this reporter lady who's asking you questions, and you actually have the option to punch her out. Nice. And every time I play the game, I always punch her out.
Nice.
It's so awesome.
That's really cool. Sort of like Saints Row 4 in the beginning.
Yeah.
When you have to solve world hunger or cure cancer.
Oh yeah, you have to choose.
So the next
room that you go into.
The next choice you have to make is this reporter. You punch him in the face or down there in that region. Such a turn, dude. From solving a genuine problem to just where to punch this dude. It was so odd, but I love that game. I get what you mean though about it's satisfying to punch the people that's always in your face.
Exactly.
If only you could do that in real life without repercussion.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you. Want to play Left 4 Dead?
Yeah. No, but no, it's it's just awesome and everything. And yeah, I mean, basically, it just goes on. Basically, the Ghostface is stalking her. There's a few encounters that he has with Sydney, and then eventually they go to this big party at this one farmhouse. It's Shaggy's house. And then basically that's where the main kills happen. And then basically Gail, she's flirting with Dewey. She does actually like him. She does genuinely like him as a person, but she's also kind of using him.
Yeah, I got that vibe. She just wants to get inside.
She wants to get the information out of him. So she's there parked in the street because obviously she wants to find out if this Ghostface killer shows up again or whatever. Where we were getting at basically, that's the important plot point in the movie, is that Sydney's boyfriend, he obviously, she hasn't touched him in a year. Yeah, it sounds so depressing.
It really does.
She basically hasn't touched him in a year, and he's starting to get a bit frustrated with her now. But to her, it's basically, it's in a sense of initially you just think that it's because her mother was murdered, so obviously she doesn't want to really touch a guy because she's too scared or whatever. But then I think it's also because deep down she kind of does know who her mother was, and she knows that her mom was sleeping around, but she doesn't want to admit it to herself.
Like a bit of a back alley Sally situation.
Yeah, she kind of knows who her mother was, and then I think she even says it later where she's worried that she's going to follow in her mom's suit. Her mom's she's going to end up becoming a mom as well, where she's going to be sleeping around and cheating and all that type of stuff.
Sure.
So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty good arc for her. Then eventually her and her boyfriend do a thing, but anyway, later, but anyway, early in the movie, there's a scene with Randy at the video den, and then like he's like just busy like busy with his work, and then Shaggy's there talking to him, and he says like what if Sydney's boyfriend did it? And then Shaggy's like, well, why would he do it? And it's like, well, yeah, because they clearly haven't been having sex for the last year or whatever, because her mother was obviously she's not going to want to do stuff like that and everything. And then anyway, they have this whole conversation, and then like Randy has a whole freak out again where he's like, everybody's a suspect, and then like everyone looks at him. Oh yeah, because he's constantly just explaining how the horror movie rules always work and everything like that.
Yeah, when I was listening to him, he had a point, but that scene is where I figured out that Shaggy was definitely one of the bad guys. I was correct. And then I remembered he's actually part of a team of 2 people.
Yeah.
So I was watching them and I was like, yeah, no, I think you two definitely.
Yeah, because there's a part where the two of them sort of like gang up on him, like the boyfriend's in front of him and the Shaggy's like right behind him.
Yeah, he's busy like touching him, and he's got these like, dude, I don't know that actor's name, Shaggy. But
yeah. I also can't remember the guy's name. It's just whenever I see him in a movie, I always go, "Oh, look at Shaggy!"
It's Shaggy,
yeah.
Dude. He has this like the thing he does with his face in that movie. He does like a lot of exaggerated facial features.
Especially later.
Isn't he's always like, I don't know what he's doing. He's so
he's always like, his face is always like freaking out.
Dude, it's so odd to me.
Perfect casting though to cast him as Shaggy.
Yeah, no, he kills it. Shaggy makes me laugh, dude. I love that actor so much.
Yeah. I wish he was in more stuff.
Dude, I really do. He was so cool.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's in Scream though. He's got a classic title to his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I went off track, but that was really when I worked out. Yeah, no, you're definitely one of the crew. Then they spent the second half of the movie like, who's the other guy?
Yeah.
I know it's one of y'all.
Yeah.
And then when it was the boyfriend and he got stabbed, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's you. You're the type to fake this stuff. So
yeah.
I didn't let like everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of the time, when you see him die on screen, you're like, okay, it can't be him. Especially because if it's the first time watching it, you may not have worked out there's 2 killers.
Yeah.
So, when you see him die, you sort of eliminate him in your mind. But I didn't. I was like, nah, you playing games. I know you. And then he came back, and I was like, I knew it.
Yeah, that boyfriend he freaked me out. Like he freaked me out from the moment I saw him. I was just like, this guy's sus.
He's sus. Yeah, he is. It's his hair that stabs his eyes constantly, and he doesn't look at you straight. He does this, and that's like really creepy.
Yeah, it looks kind of like Johnny Depp, which I think actually was a deliberate creative choice by Wes Craven. Because in Nightmare on Elm Street, the boyfriend, obviously there's the main girl who obviously Freddy's after, and her boyfriend actually was Johnny Depp.
Nice.
Because that was one of Johnny Depp's like first roles when he was like very young or whatever. So I think it was actually it was a very deliberate choice because he was sort of like playing off of what he already did in Nightmare on Elm Street, but also being very meta about it. So
and then paying homage.
Yeah, paying homage to it and everything. But
that's cool. I haven't seen the first Friday the 13th Nightmare on Elm Street.
The first Nightmare on Elm Street is very good.
I haven't seen it in years. The thing is, I always put that movie off because my mom was freaked out of it by it when she was a youngster, and so I always put it off as well. I was like, no, if it's that bad, I want to sleep tonight. I ain't watching it, but now I'll watch it.
There are definitely some scenes that are like straight up disturbing. You kind of go, wow.
Okay.
Like it's one of those. There's a couple of scenes where you just like your eyes just go big. You just go, oh my gosh.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. No, I still want to watch it though. We have to.
But yeah, no, we definitely have to do it. No, I want to do it. It's a very good movie, but yeah. So anyway, that's a whole plot point now, is that the boyfriend, and that's kind of why you sort of may suspect the boyfriend, because not only did he obviously he was there conveniently when Ghostface first attacked her, but also the fact that that she's not giving him any sex that he clearly wants or whatever, and all that type of stuff, and then eventually they go into a bedroom alone together because Sydney wants to talk to him, because Sydney obviously feels bad about all the stuff she's been doing to him and everything. And then they do end up having sex, which was, and then that also, like Randy even brings it up, that actually that technically breaks the rules, because the virgin is always the one that survives in a horror movie, and Sydney was technically not a virgin by the end of the movie, but she survived. basically. Not in my horror movie.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice bit of meta commentary.
Yeah, and like what you mentioned earlier with the boyfriend, where they fake it, where the boyfriend's like with her in the bedroom, and then Ghostface comes in and stabs him, and then there's like blood all over his shirt, but then you find out that it's actually not blood, and he licks the blood, and he's like he's like corn syrup, which was used for the pig's blood in Carrie.
Oh yeah, Stephen King's Carrie.
Yeah.
I like the book.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie though, but I want to.
I've seen the remake of it with Chloe Grace.
Oh yeah, they did have a remake.
Yeah, that's the Carrie that I've seen, but obviously there's that original one from the 70s I still need to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But
For
yeah.
sure. Okay, cool.
But yeah, no. But yeah, pretty much. And then, yeah, I mean, not much else. There's also the cool element where Gail goes into the party with Dewey. Obviously, you know, she's like flirting with him and everything, and he's like, just like, oh, you know, like, look what date I brought and everything. Yeah, that's how I like Dewey. Like, he is a cop and everything. He's a cop, and obviously he's like, you know, he's not a guy that you mess with, but at the same time, he's also kind of got that very goofy nature to him.
He does.
Which I do like about Dewey. But anyway, and then she basically like sneaks a camera and she puts it on top of the VHS where nobody will see, so the camera's there. And then there's that 30-second delay. So back in the van with her cameraman guy, when he's watching the footage, there's always that 30-second delay.
I thought that was an interesting element to actually add to that scene.
Yeah, because
30-second delay.
Yeah, because then later when Randy's sitting there by himself and he's busy watching Halloween, and then Ghostface is like coming behind him with a knife and everything. There's that 30-second delay, so you don't. And then the thing is, he obviously, like, Ghostface decides not to kill him and he goes off, and then because of that 30-second delay, you don't know where Ghostface is.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It adds that wrench in the works.
It set up a really cool kill.
It did.
Yeah.
I get you. Now I thought that was a nice, like, inclusion. Because of that delay, it allowed Ghostface to sort of throw off his exact location.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was cool. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you brought it up, because I was going to bring it up. That thing was epic.
Yeah. And I think my favorite kill in the movie is probably the garage door kill.
Yeah, I think so too. I had the same thought. I was like, yeah, garage kill. That's mint.
Yeah, because the city's friend, she goes into the garage to go get some beers, and then Ghostface appears. Of course, she thinks it's like some idiot in a costume just trying to scare her.
They have that exact same scene in Scary Movie.
Well, yeah, because they
parody, of course, but they almost almost copy pasted everything about that scene.
Yeah, basically. And then she's trying to escape him. She and like you said, he trips over and she like hits him with the refrigerator and he like falls down and everything like that.
I love that shot.
And then she tries to crawl out of the garage door, but then she gets stuck, and then he obviously like pushes the button and then like it goes up, and then she gets like her head chopped and everything.
Yeah, that was the pet door, I think, like a doggy door.
Yeah, the doggy door for the garage and everything.
Still pretty cool though. I agree. That was definitely the most intricate kill. I don't think, obviously he didn't plan it that way, but
yeah,
I'm glad he can think on his feet. Whoever the killer was at that time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they dressed up at the same time. They sort of rotated.
No, I think yeah. Because when I was watching it again, I was actually thinking, okay, now who? Okay, who's in the costume at what time and everything like that.
Yeah, I was doing that as well. Because as soon as one killer disappeared,
the other guy appeared. The other guy popped up.
Then I was like, hey, no, now I know who's who here.
Yeah.
You kind of work it out, and if you rewatch it, you can probably make a few more connections that you missed the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can imagine in the beginning when they killed Drew Barrymore, because Drew Barrymore's character is Shaggy's ex-girlfriend. So I'm assuming that was probably Sydney's boyfriend just before he went to go see Sydney. So obviously because it's that way so that they it's so that they have plausible deniability between the two of them.
Yeah,
so that like you go kill you kill my ex and I'll kill your girlfriend.
Yeah, so they're intermediate suspects.
Intermediate suspects, and there's and they have like an alibi and all the type of stuff.
They'd be each other's alibi.
Yeah, basically.
That makes sense. It's plausible. I mean, it works. I'm sure people have gotten away with that before, being each other's alibi. But sometimes the investigators, they find loopholes. They're like, nah, something up with you fools.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then but otherwise, just a really great movie and everything.
It is a good movie. Can I give you an honest opinion?
Yeah, sure. Honest opinion away.
Sure. Not towards the end, but let's say towards the end. It likes to, how do I put this politely? It gets, the movie gets very narcissistic, if I can put it that way. It loves to predict itself, and then when it's right, it's like, see, I told you that was gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it does that, and then it starts to get a little bit irritating after a while. You're like,
it does
we
get
know, thank you.
Especially when the two guys reveal themselves. I think it's also maybe because like the Shaggy actor, he's like freaking out. He's
Dude,
like,
he's so eccentric.
He's so eccentric and like he's like in your face, and like the first time I was just going, guys, dial it down.
A little bit, please.
Just dial it down.
I'm dying, man.
I'm dying, man.
I love that scene.
You stab me too much.
Like, yeah, they're pretty much after they reveal each other, then the movie starts to drag a bit for me. It's a bit long.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, when I first watched the movie as well, I was also kind of going like, yeah, this scene is dragging on for way too long. Can we move on, please?
Sort of like how you hate Deadpool 2 when he's dying.
Oh, yeah, when he's dying, he's going to die.
It goes on for like 10 minutes.
It goes on for like 10 minutes.
I know you hate that scene.
My sister loves the Deadpool movies, obviously because, you know, they're like rom-coms basically. So So she loves the Deadpool, and she also loves Ryan Reynolds, so she loves the Deadpool movies. And whenever I complain about that scene, she always gets angry with me. She's like, just watch the movie!
I get you. Yeah, that's how it works, man. For me personally, it goes on a bit long. Like it starts to, you're gonna have to bleep me, but it's so really hard.
Yeah, it does. It really likes it's in love with himself, but anyway, I mean, I was able to sort of tolerate it a bit because this is my second time watching the first Scream. I was able to tolerate it a bit more this time around, but I do agree with you. The first time I watched it, I also had that same reaction. I was also kind of like, okay, can we move on now?
Yeah,
dial it down, guys.
Yeah, please, goodness.
The scene's going on for way too long. But anyway, but we find out that the reason why the boyfriend is doing it is because the boyfriend, he's doing it because Sydney's mom was, because we revealed earlier that his mom like disappeared. She divorced his dad, and then she basically left town, and she like left him as well. And then we found out that actually Sydney's mom was cheating with his dad, and that's why his mother left and everything. So that's why he's got this vengeful thing against her family and all that type of stuff. And then with Shaggy, it's just peer pressure.
Yeah, I was also like, it's kind of doff logic, but at the same time, he never came across as a.
Came across as a loon.
A loon? No, I just meant he never thought about things thoroughly. He was more of an impulsive decision maker. So he was probably like, hey man, you want to whack my ex? And he was like, oh, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion of him. Like he said it was peer pressure, which fair enough. His whole demeanor just gives off that impulsive attitude.
Yeah.
Like he's a bit deranged, you can see it, especially with his like eyes and his whole facial movements during some scenes.
Oh, his mouth's always like, oh.
He's so exaggerated, which he did well.
He's a cartoon character basically, but again, that just shows us how good his acting is.
Exactly, and I know I said just now that Scream, especially towards the end, it loves itself in talking about what happens during slasher movies or horror movies. I know it's a very like meta interpretation of the film, so I don't want to bash it like that, but I meant for me it became a little bit overwhelming and irritating. I was like, okay, we get it, guys. Can we just... I don't mean to be like, and miss the point completely.
It's a fair criticism. Yeah,
okay.
It is a very fair criticism.
Cool. I just wanted to make sure of that.
Then we get our we're sort of when Sydney turns the tables on them. Because Gail, the two of them, they have a knife and a gun, and then the guns on the Shaggy leaves the gun on the table. Then Gail, like she sneaks up on them and grabs the gun, and she's got the gun on them, but the safety's on obviously, so the boyfriend just knocks her out or whatever. But then when they turn around to like look for Sydney, Sydney's gone, and she's taken the voice modulator or whatever that they use to have the ghost face voice or whatever, and then she started and then I actually love that. I actually completely forgot about that, but I love that she actually like uses the thing and she actually starts playing mind games with them, like how they did with her throughout the movie.
That's a very bold move because she was still outnumbered.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point her dad was still tied up and Gail's out sleeping.
And Dewey's obviously been stabbed or whatever, so he's knocked out as well. So it's just her basically against these two guys. But she basically like plays mind games with him, and then when the boyfriend's walking down the hallway, she comes out the basement door, and she's wearing the Scream costume, and she's like, like stabs him or whatever. And then it was cool to see Sidney Prescott wearing the costume because I actually completely forgot about that. And then anyway, Shaggy dies and everything. The boyfriend takes freaking forever to die. Like they stabbed him like 20 times. I'm like, do you see this guy chasing him like a bicycle? Like just die, dude.
Dude, just die, please.
Just die.
Do us a favor.
Yeah, we always had that meme of like those annoyed characters who were just like, dude, just die.
Please do us a favor.
Just die. But anyway, eventually he finally dies. And then basically movie wraps up. But yeah,
Nicely. It was a nice meta interpretation. They made a story, essentially copy pasting the slasher formula, and then they switched it up completely by making it meta.
It's why I love the Scream series.
I'll give it to Scream. Definitely a unique take on slasher film because of its interpretation. It not only analyzes past horror films, but it also analyzes itself as it's playing out. It's very clever.
It is very clever.
Very clever writing. So I definitely give it a props, a 1-up for that.
Yeah, no.
I didn't realize watching it, because I watched it years ago, as I said, but watching it again now, and all the references to writing, it's essentially what it is. It's a writing analysis using different characters, and it made a meta version, which is awesome. That's why I like it.
Yeah, that's why I really wanted to do Scream eventually for our podcast because obviously as two filmmakers and we obviously want to make our own films one day. It's a very good movie to analyze and just to kind of like look and just like, especially for people who've actually studied film and everything. It's a real treat.
It is
treat
a treat
to watch.
to break down. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Satisfying. That's why I enjoy it. As I say, I don't have any problems with it. I really liked it. The only thing is that the end drags a bit for me.
Yeah, it does drag a bit.
But other than that, I don't have any harsh and negative criticisms.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
do you want to move on? I don't know what's next. Shots.
No, yeah, shots that we liked. Yes, I actually did check my phone because I actually have a folder in my gallery. I have a folder on my phone where favorite shots from films. That whenever I watch a really good film, I'll go into Film Grab. Shameless plug-in of Film Grab. Highly recommend it. I download shots obviously from the movie, and I keep them kind of like as inspiration for when I'm working or whatever. And then some of the shots I did like. I like the one. Remember the shot where the scene where she goes into the bathroom, and obviously those girls are in the toilet and they're busy like bad mouthing or whatever. And there's that shot where like it's sort of like from the bottom, and then you sort of see her, and she's like at the far end of the bathroom, and she like looks back like that. It's that like that. That's one of the shots I like. I like the sunset shots, especially when Sydney, after towards the beginning when Sydney's by herself for the first time at home. There's sort of like those like nice like beautiful sunset shots that are very nice. And then I also like the shot where she goes over to her friend's house, obviously, to go stay with her. And then they're like in their bedroom and they're in their pajamas and obviously gossiping about boys or whatever. And it's sort of like this, the camera's like sort of up here, and it's sort of like this almost top down type of shot.
You mean when Dewey also comes into the
Yeah, when Dewey comes into the bedroom.
I'll give you that. That's very cool. I thought it was weird as well. Not weird, but an unusual angle.
Yeah, but it was a cool shot angle.
It was very cool. Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Before I just step in, I know you might have others.
No. When I was looking through my folder, I was like, okay, those are 3 shots that are
fancied. Okay, I think I only really have one shot that I really like, and that's when Sydney comes home right after the first murder. She comes home from school. And the sun is still pretty high, but you can see her on her porch step at the top of the steps, and you can see the view of the valley that she has.
Yeah, that's that is a beautiful shot.
Very isolated house she has. That's very nice. And now I could understand why the cops wouldn't arrive at the previous house very quickly, because huge properties without many people around.
Yeah.
So that's the shot I liked the most, the highlight shot. Other than that, I don't think I have any. Oh, I like the use of the little camera by the VHS player when whatever his name is on the phone, and you see his mouth. I'm like, how don't you notice this camera right here?
Exactly. Yeah.
I suppose they were probably a bit drunk, so let it slide. That would be it. I don't really have many highlight shots.
Yeah, but overall, it's just a really great movie. Fantastic series. I absolutely love it. If you haven't seen the Scream series, I highly recommend watching it. And I just love everything about it. I love the characters. I love the meta commentary. Sidney Prescott is again one of my favorite horror queens in film. And no, it's just really awesome. And yeah, the new Scream is coming out. Looks interesting. They're bringing back the legacy characters and everything like that. I won't say who the legacy characters are because I don't want to spoil it for you. But the legacy characters come back. They're focusing a lot on these young kids and young characters and everything. I'm really worried about that. I'm worried it's going to be like the thing where it's just like, don't you care about these new characters? I'm like, no, I don't care about the new characters. I care about the old characters from the series. Just focus on them, please. Don't focus on these young people.
On anyone else, I get you totally. That makes sense, dude.
However, what is cool is the actor who plays Yui in The Boys. Yeah, he's going to be the new Scream movie. So when I saw him, I was like, it's Yui.
It's Yui.
Yeah, it's
nice,
awesome.
Nice, that's great. Do you have takeaways? If you want to move to that.
I don't know. I think my takeaway is I just love that this movie it pays a lot of homage and respect to a lot of famous horror movies, but it's also but again that's what I love. I love the meta commentary and the meta writing and everything. It's so brilliantly executed and done.
It is. That's definitely a takeaway of mine as well. Is the meta outlook on life and filmmaking specifically. It's brilliant. But another takeaway I think I had was. It's copying over from Candyman. If you have a cool idea, find something that would just give it a unique take, and they did that with the meta writing.
Yeah, basically.
So don't feel bad if your idea is similar to other things that have been done.
Yeah.
Just find an interesting way to present it.
Present it, yeah.
Yeah, that would be my 2 takeaways.
My rating, 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm thinking maybe 3.5. I'm joking. Watch the riots.
Yeah.
No, I'd also give it a 9. I have absolutely no flaws with this. I appreciate the Cluedo style game they played with you to get you involved. As I said, the only reason I subtract a point is that ending is this.
Just that like reveal scene of who the murderer is. That scene goes on for way too long.
It drags a bit.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I find tedious about that film. Where towards the end, I was like. Please finish.
Can we move on?
And then when he was like, this is the part where the killer gets up for one last glorious, and then she blasts him. I was like,
thank you. He's fucking dead. Don't get up again.
Yeah, dude, that was it. Other than that, I love the film. I have no flaws.
Yeah,
no concerns.
Really awesome.
9 out of 10.
All right, cool. But yeah, no, thanks very much for watching this.
Thank you.
Episode, guys. I hope you're all enjoyed this and you're a fan of the Scream series. I can't wait to watch Scream 5. And I
can't wait to watch Scream 2, seeing as I'm behind.
Yeah. Hopefully this will be a film series where we can do all this, every single one in the franchise. Every few months.
Yeah, as they come along, sure.
As they come along every few months. But thanks very much for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any feedback, just leave it in the comments or write us a review on one of our podcast platforms. And thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.